Welcome back to my HHO website, and I've had quite a few questions from people wanting to know about pulse width modulators. Firstly, you've been asking what rating to use for running the hydrogen cell. Okay, the 15 amp is okay for running low ampage units such as motors, fans, etc., but it won't survive for long used to run an HHO cell. It will probably last a couple of weeks and then fail. The manufacturers say that it will run at 15 amps continuous, but they don't. The MOSFETs simply burn out. So if you buy a PWM, get the 30 amp, it has more chance of surviving. It's yours running at about 20 amps. I've got a couple of 15 amp PWMs that have failed, and I'm going to beef them up and use them again. The 30 amp has two MOSFETs connected in parallel, so it's more suitable for HHO cells. Other questions are related to the various components on the circuit board. The main components are the MOSFETs on each sink, the LM324 Quad Pro amp, and the 10K linear potentiometer. The function of the Quad Pro amp is to control the output of the MOSFETs. It's a 14-pin chip. Okay, it's a 14-pin chip which contains 4 separate transistor circuits. If you can see that, I don't know whether you can. It's it's okay. But it's a 14-pin chip, 4 transistors, one for the frequency, one for the 6-volt reference, one for the oscillator, and one for the comparator. It sends a varied voltage to the gate of the MOSFET to adjust the current. The MOSFET is a transistor and basically works like a switch, allowing current to flow from the drain to the source. When the MOSFETs fail, they usually seize the on position. So if you cannot control your ampage and the reading from your ammeter is constant, then you can be sure the unit has failed. Okay. Now, if you want to test a MOSFET, you can perform a few basic tests. Right, have a look at you. Right, okie doke. Right, first we look at the MOSFET for signs of physical damage. Usually the drain gets discolored, indicating that it has become overheated. And if it is, then it's not far from. If it hasn't failed, then it's not. It's an indication that it's a sure sign that it won't last much longer. Secondly, you can test it with a multimeter. Touch the pins with your fingers to drain any voltage in the MOSFET. Set your meter on the continuity setting. This is the one that makes a beeping sound if the probes are touched together. Put the negative probe on S, the source, and the positive on a D. You should get an open circuit reading and no beep. If you get a beep, then the MOSFET is seized on. If it passes this test, leave the negative probe on S and touch the positive probe on G. There's enough voltage in the multimeter to switch the MOSFET on, long enough to test it. Now, leaving the negative lead on the source, touch the positive probe to D, and you should get a continuity and a beep, indicating that the MOSFET is switched on. Do this test a few times to be sure, not forgetting to drain the voltage off with your fingers. If the MOSFET switches on okay, then it should be functional, and that should be okay. But this is obviously just a basic test which indicates it's like a no-go-go test, and it normally is sufficient to tell you whether the multimeter is working, whether the MOSFET is working, Other components, such as resistors, diodes, etc., can be checked quite easily, although they don't usually fail. Okay, so I hope that answered a few of your questions. I'm always willing to share any info. And this video obviously is for the people that have asked me questions that don't know a lot about the pulse width modulation setup. So anybody who's technically minded and know all the details, then you're going to find this very boring. But for those of you who don't know, this might be a good start for you to understand how this works. So we're going to beef this one up. This is one I made on a board, just a plain board. It's a bit untidy, but it works perfectly. And this one, obviously, I've had this connected up, and it works perfect. That is fine. This is one that I bought, the 15 amp one. It's useless, absolutely useless. But the circuit board's okay. There's a lot of usable things in there. I won't throw it away. I shall beef it up, put 2 heat sinks on it, a couple of high-powered MOSFETs, and give it another try. At least it deserves another chance. Okay then, bye for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.